Hello everyone, and welcome back to Pilates Fit Friday. We discuss Pilates content and fitness each week. And for today, we're going to go over lumbopelvic stability. Now, lumbopelvic stability is really important in terms of movement. In order to have good lumbopelvic stability, we have strong enough core muscles, deep core muscles, and hip musculature to help stabilize the pelvis and the spine. Now in Pilates, we like to work from the center outward, creating a stable foundation for the extremities to work off of. Now, what muscles are involved in lumbopelvic stability? We have our transverse abdominis, which connects from our spine horizontally to our linea alba, which is the line that's the middle line in the six pack that most people are aware of. We also have our multifidi, which are important stabilizers of the spine, as well as our psoas major, which connects from our pelvis up to our lower lumbar vertebrae. And lastly, we have our pelvic floor, which is, if you think about the core as a cylinder, that pelvic floor will be the bottom, and then all of those other supporting muscles would be the surrounding sides. Now, a good analogy for this is a house. So we need walls to support a roof, typically, and if one wall is failing, then the other walls might have a little bit more stress on them. This is where maybe incontinence or low back pain might come into play. But in general, we want to keep that stable foundation to protect the spine as well as the pelvis. Now, if you're asking, well, how do I know if I have good lumbopelvic stability? I'll go ahead and show you one of the ways I would assess lumbopelvic stability, and also a way you can work on this at home to improve your lumbopelvic stability as well. So in an assessment, one of my tools is a biopressure feedback cuff. It is typically used for physical therapy. I've worked in physical therapy clinics for many years, so I'm kind of aware of the fun little tools that they use. There's a lot of things you can do with this. However, when I do use it, it's mainly for lumbopelvic stability. So let's just go over how I would assess someone's lumbopelvic stability. I'm gonna place this right at my low back here. Right at the curve of the low back. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pump up my little pillow here to 40, okay? And 40 is gonna be my neutral pelvis. Now, if I have good lumbopelvic stability, I would be able to maintain a neutral pelvis during abdominal work. So, keeping my gauge here at 40, what I'll usually have people do is just get a feel for, or visual idea of what their low back is doing. So I'll have them tuck their pelvis under, imprint their spine into the mat, increasing the pressure. So they know when the tick mark goes up, you're pelvic tucking. So you're using more rectus abdominis than you are full on core strength. Okay, from there, and this is a big one, I'll have people extend their back going into an anterior tilt, so they can visually see that they're losing pressure here. This is what we want to avoid the most, because overextension of the low back is going to overwork the low back, and it's not going to feel great. When in doubt, I prefer people imprint, especially if they have osteoporosis or stenosis or any contraindications like that. But for now, the average person, keep it at 40. Okay, so I'll have them do some pelvic rocking first. Now from here, I'll have them do marching. So keeping that gauge at 40. I don't know if you can see it here. As you transition, the tick mark should stay within 40 here, which it is. I don't think you can see it, but. So I'll have somebody do that. For an individual that really struggles with lumbopelvic stability, there will be a lot of this. A lot of rocking in the hips, a lot of tucking and extending, okay? So that tells me the control and the stabilization in that area is a little bit limited, and that's something we can work on, which is good information for me as a Pilates instructor. Now from here, my second exercise that I would have somebody do is bringing both legs into a tabletop position. And this is a big one with extension here. So we're tapping and lifting, tapping and lifting. It's hard to do and watch at the same time and talk. But basically what we're doing is we're trying to maintain that same pressure, stabilizing the hips as the legs are moving. That's just always something good to come back to. It seems simple. Even as an instructor, I can personally still benefit from this. What I really enjoy about this tool is that it gives somebody visual feedback as to what's going on down here. It's one thing to feel or have cues or be told how and what we should be feeling, but it's another thing to be able to visually see it. Now, how can you do this at home? At home, you're probably going to want to get a little bit more creative. What I will typically do, get a towel and we'll roll it on up for a little bit of support. Now, this is going to tell you not to leave the towel. When in doubt, squish the towel. And perhaps a little stick. A stick, something long, something that will show if there's any rocking or dipping. I'll show you what I mean by this. So we'll place it right at our low back here. Okay, and I'm gonna place my little stick right here. And I will hold that stick steady as I'm marching. Now, the better you get, the lower you can bring it. Don't bring it too low though, because then your legs are gonna push it out of the way, which is what I'm doing here. My waistband is sticking out, so it's making it a little challenging to do that. There we go. What I like about this is in your peripheral vision, you can see what the stick is doing. It's not a perfect way of doing this, but it helps in terms of learning how to stabilize the lower core and the spine. And in order to do more difficult exercises, it's really important to have good lumbopelvic stability. Otherwise, we're more prone to injury. And without that support, we can't lift or utilize as much resistance or weight. Well, so there you have it. Lumbopelvic stability, just a brief explanation and how I would assess someone's lumbopelvic stability, as well as ways you can practice this at home. It's simple, it's easy, and it's worth doing from a beginner standpoint to an advanced standpoint. So definitely give it a try. Let me know what you think. If you enjoy this content, definitely leave a comment below. Like and share, try to get our name out there, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye!